how to actually begin the healing. Because a lot of people have been incredibly skilled at performing survival. They know how to function while hurting. They know how to smile while disconnecting. They know how to help while they are even empty they themselves. They know how to keep commitment while grieving. They know how to say, I am good, while something inside them is slowly collapsing. And because they are functional, because people assume they are healing, because functioning is not healing. Functioning is not healing. Looking calm is not healing. Being productive is not healing. Staying needed is not healing. Being admired for how well you carry pain is not healing. Healing begins somewhere much less impressive. It begins in truth. It begins in honesty. Truth about what is hurting. Truth about what the pain is. Truth about what is heavy. Truth about what no longer fits. Truth about what you have been avoiding. Truth about what the performance was covering. And the reason this matters, friends, is this. Some of you are exhausted not only from the pain itself, but from managing the image of not being in pain, for trying to image manage not looking painful. It's a whole lot. It exhausts people. And that's a lot to carry. It's a whole lot to carry. So tonight, I want to talk about what it actually looks like to begin healing for real. Hello, Andy Pratt. How you doing? How do you start? Where do you even start? And what healing is not, all right? Also, what healing requires, what to stop doing, what to let yourself do, how to begin telling the truth without feeling like your whole life will fall apart. Hello, Gavin. Thanks for joining. Because some of you are ready, not ready to be finished, not ready to have everything figured out, but ready to stop pretending. And that is enough for the beginning. That is enough for the beginning. All right. I want to take us a little bit back so as to refresh your minds if you've been following us for a long time. In episode 1, we talked about, are you living or are you performing? In episode 2, we talked about, hey, the person they clapped for was not even you. It was your performance they clapped for. In episode 3, we grieved about the life you're building. You can't even reside inside. You can't rest inside of it. In episode 4, we exposed, it was an expose. The pressure to be good is killing who you could become. In episode 5, we named, you said you were tired because, hey, you've not been yourself in years. You've been role playing so many other people. In episode 6, we went into a discovery session. The fear of disappointing people is controlling your life. In episode 7, we asked the question, can you still hear yourself under all this noise? And in episode 8, we faced some truth. Some of your relationships only worked with a fake you. So tonight we'll cross a line, all right? Because once you see all of that, once you see everything that we've talked about in this series, once you have named the roles you've been playing, the fear, the exhaustion, the blur, the relationship shifts, the question now becomes, now what? And if you know my channel very well, if I'm doing a series, I try to balance the series from the problem to what the solution looks like. Now what? How do I start healing? How do I stop performing? All right, we've stated that performance doesn't make sense. We need to be real. Okay, so where do I start from? Where do I start from? Oh, Andy Pratt, he loves you too. How do I stop performing? How do I become, or how do I begin coming back to myself? How do I tell the truth without destroying everything, without burning bridges? How do I start moving forward in a real way, the real me? How do I start moving forward? That is what tonight's talk is for. This is not the episode of pretending you're okay. No. This episode is not a pretense episode at all. This is not the episode of trying harder to be admired. No. This is the episode of the beginnings. Beginning with truth, beginning with honesty, beginning with the first real breath after a long session of emotional holding. So, ride with me in this. Friends, the first thing I want to say tonight is this. If you want to start healing, you have to stop confusing performance with progress. The reason I say that is that a lot of people think they are moving forward when they are really just getting better at hiding. They become better at sounding stable. They become better at sounding healed. They become better at appearing matured, right? Image management. They become better at carrying the weight without showing it. They become better at spiritual language, so they talk spiritual language. So you think, oh, they are healed. They become better at sounding wise, become better at showing up for everyone else while staying disconnected from themselves. And from the outside, it looks like growth. Oh, you say, oh, Matt is a strong guy. Can't you say Matt is a strong guy? He's a better person. From the outside, it looks like growth, but from the inside, they are still stuck. They are stuck. Because healing is not just better management of pain, healing is honest engagement with pain. One of the first videos I did on YouTube a couple of months ago is how to use your pains wisely. If you've not seen it, please go watch it. See, it is different. Healing is not becoming more impressive, all right, while still bleeding privately. Healing is not becoming more useful while you're still empty. Healing is not becoming more better at giving people the version of you that worries them the least. Healing begins when you stop asking, how do I keep this looking okay? And start asking, what is actually true here? What is true? What is my truth? What is true about my exhaustion? What is true about my grief? What is true about this relationship? What is true about this role? What is true about how long I've been disappearing? What is true about this performance? And what is true about the cost of the performance? Friends, that is where healing starts. It doesn't start in the image, it starts in truth. Healing starts in honesty. And some of you are going to have to admit tonight that you've spent a long, long time trying to look healed, trying to play the role. Because looking healed or sounding healed, it felt safer than actually going through healing. See, friends, but it's okay to admit it. That's okay to admit. Do not shame it. Because on this channel, we're not here for shame. Just tell the truth about it. Because the moment you stop pretending performance is progress, you start making room for something real. The moment you stop pretending, oh, performance means progress, every move means progress, you actually start making room for something real. So if you want to start healing, you must have to name what hurts. I always say this when I'm talking about solutions. The first thing you have to do, name it. No vague talk. Name it. Name what hurts. Name it clearly. Name it honestly without editing it into something prettier than it is. Don't edit it. Don't no, no, don't clean it up. Just name it. Well, it sounds simple, right? You're like, hey, Matt, that is so simple. But for many people, it's difficult. It's hard because they are used to minimizing. They are used to spiritualizing. They are used to rationalizing. They're used to saying, it is not that bad. I'll be fine. Oh, Matt, it is what it is. The whole world is suffering. I just need to be stronger. I just need to be grateful. The whole world is suffering. But healing does not begin with minimization, it begins with naming. This hurts. This hurts. What is this? Name it. This drains me. This broke trust in me. This role is costing me. This relationship has become one sided. This pace is crushing me. I am lonelier than I admit. Name it. Name it. I'm angrier than I let myself say. I'm grieving more than people know. I've been functioning while hurting. I've been smiling while disappearing. I've been saying yes while something in me was dying. That kind of naming. Not dramatic, nothing dramatic. If you know me, and I'm not here for the big bang. Nothing dramatic. Not performative. So there's no performance here, all right? Just true. Because what is unnamed stays unworked. What is unnamed stays hidden behind the symptoms. You've always heard me say it on this channel. Don't go after the symptom. Go after the root cause. Go after the causative bacteria or bacterium. Go after that. Don't go after symptoms. What is unnamed stays hidden behind symptoms. It shows up as irritability. You just get you get worked out over little things. It shows up as numbness. It shows up as withdrawal. It shows up as chronic tiredness. It shows up as quiet resentment. But once you name it, once you call it what it is, you stop fighting ghosts. Oh, yeah, you stop fighting ghosts. Now you're dealing with reality. You're dealing with reality. And reality is where the healing has something to work with. See, friends, healing cannot work in vagueness. It needs to have something to work with. Some of you do not need a 10-step plan first. You do not need a 7-step plan first. You need one honest sentence, just one. Just one. A sentence you've been refusing to let yourself say. Just one sentence, not 10 plan, not 10 steps. One. Maybe it is, I am not okay. Maybe that's all you need. I am not okay. Or for you, it is more like, I am more hurt than I admit. One sentence, that is the beginning. That's all you need. Maybe something like, I do not want to keep living like this. That's all you need. Or, I am tired of being the strong one. Or, this relationship is hurting me. Maybe that is all you need. That is all your truth to start with. Or, I have been pretending. Or, I have been performing, I have not been real. Or, I do not feel at home in my own life. Maybe that's all you need, my friend. Or, I cannot keep carrying this role. I've been living this role. This has not been me. That first sentence matters because sometimes healing does not begin with a breakthrough. Healing does not begin with a big bang. It begins with permission to stop lying to yourself, permission to stop minimizing things, permission to stop calling survival peace. And when that first sentence finally comes out, something shifts. See, in that shift, friends, you may cry. Oh, you may feel relief. You may feel fear. You may feel exposed. You may even feel as if something just left you. Well, but under all of that, something else often appears. Truth. Truth. And see, truth has weight. All right? Truth has weight. Truth has air in it. Truth lets the body unclench in a way image never can. That is why the first honest sentence is sacred. Not because it solves everything, no, but it opens the door. It opens the door. Let's make this personal. Let's talk about someone. All right. Let's talk about John. John is a man who has spent years being the strong one. He's been a very steady, a very dependable, a very capable, always, always handling stuff. Everybody around him trusts that image of John. So what happens? John keeps feeding that image. Even when life gets heavy, even when grief builds, even when John's inner life grows more tired, even when he starts feeling numb, he keeps that image. And one day, someone asked him a routine question: how are you doing? Normally, you would say, I'm good. The programmed, I'm good. The automated, I'm good. Or it will say, oh, I'm hanging in there. All the usual lines we all say when we ask, how are you doing? But this day is different. This day he paused. Before he answered, he paused. And then he says something he has not said in a very long time. He said, honestly, I'm not doing very well. That sentence changes the whole moment. Because for the first time, he's not managing the room. He's not managing expectations. He's not protecting the image. He's not giving the programmed answer, the expected answer. He is telling the truth. And maybe the other person does not even know what to do with it. Maybe the moment feels awkward. Maybe he feels exposed right away. But something real has begun. Because healing started the second he stopped protecting the performance. See, healing starts once you stop protecting that image. That is what some of you need, my friends. That's what some of you need. Not a perfect speech, not a dramatic collapse. Just one place where you stop lying and start telling the truth. So if you want to start healing, you have to stop running back to image management. We talked about that yesterday. Some people, they try so much. They try to get things working right. But when they get a small detour, when they have any small issue, they run back to image management. So if you're serious about healing, you have to stop running back to image management. Every time truth makes you uncomfortable, you don't run back to image management. Because this is what a lot of people often do. They tell the truth for a second, they tell the truth for a day, and then immediately they try to clean it up. Oh, they cry. Oh, they apologize for crying. They set a boundary, then they over explain the boundary. They say, oh, they're tired, then they rush to prove that they are still dependable. They admit they are hurting, they are feeling pain. Then immediately they make it smaller so no one feels too concerned. Why? Because truth makes them feel exposed. Truth exposes them. And image management feels safe. So what do? They run back to image management. But healing cannot grow in that reflex. In that kind of conditioning, healing cannot grow. Healing needs room. Healing needs you to stay with what is true. Healing needs you to stay with what is true long enough for you to be able to become real in your own body. That means not rushing to make your honesty most digestible. Not rushing to make your pain more impressive. Not rushing to make your boundary feel less inconvenient. You told the truth. Let it be there. Let it be there. You said no. Let it stand. You admitted the hurt. You feel the hurt. You admitted it. Do not edit it away. See, what I'm asking you is hard, and I know that. So it's like, hey, man, what are you saying is hard? I know that it's hard, but that's the right thing to do. It's hard, especially if you're used to protecting people from your reality. It's hard. But friends, it is necessary. It is necessary because every time you tell the truth and then immediately you soften it into performance, you train yourself not to trust your own honesty again. And self-trust is part of healing too. And it's a very big part of healing. So never run back to image management every time you hit a detour in your part of healing. I said one of the first set of videos I made on this channel is being real with your pain and making your pain useful. See, on the healing journey, this part is very big. A lot of people want to rush past pain. They want to turn it into wisdom too quickly. They want the lesson, they want the takeaway, they want the polished reflection, the inspirational meaning. And yes, meaning matters. I agree. That's what I always say. Meaning matters. Know what the pain, what is telling you, know the signal. But if you rush to make your pain useful before you let it be real, you may never actually process the pain. Some of you have been trying to teach from wounds. You have not yet touched honesty. You've been trying to serve from places you have not sat with. You've been trying to move on from things you have not grieved yet. You've been trying to sound healed in places where you still need tenderness. Let pain be pain first, my friend. Let pain be pain first. Let grief be grief first. Let confusion be confusion first. Let heartbreak be heartbreak first. Let anger be anger first. Let loss be loss. You do not have to immediately turn your suffering into a sermon. You do not have to instantly redeem it in the public. Sometimes the onlyest thing you can do is to sit with what hurts, process it, sit with it without forcing it to become beautiful too quickly. Processing of pain is part of healing. Because healing is not just what you learn from pain. It's also what you allow yourself to feel about the pain. Now, let me make this a little bit practical, as I always do on this channel. Starting the healing does not mean you tell everything to everybody. Be careful. You're in the healing process. That doesn't mean you tell everything to everybody. It means you stop telling nothing to anyone. There's a difference. You do not need to perform vulnerability to the world. You do not need to make every wound public. You do not need to make every pain public. You do not need to be raw in every room. But you need truth somewhere. You need a trusted person. You need a journal. You need a counselor. You need a mentor. You need a prayer space. You need a quiet room where you can stop pretending. You need a relationship that can actually hold honesty. Because hidden pain multiplies in isolation. Very important. And some of you have been carrying things alone, not because nobody exists, but because performance taught you that truth was risky. So what do? I better keep my truth to myself. So you need to practice bringing truth into safe spaces, not reckless places, please. Safe spaces or safe places. That matters. Because healing grows where honesty is met well, where honesty is received well. And if you had not had many places like that, part of your healing may be learning how to build them. See, that's not weakness, that is wisdom. Mary is a woman who had been saying it's fine for years, like a lot of us are programmed to do. When she's hurt, it's fine. When she's overlooked, it's fine. When she's tired, it's fine. And when she's carrying too much, it's fine. When the relationship feels one-sided, feels parasitic, it's all fine. When the pace is too much, or when the pace is too much, when things are going too fast for her to even comprehend, it's fine. That phrase became a shield, like a lot of us do today. It kept the atmosphere calm. It kept the boat not rocked. Okay, it kept everyone going. Kept people not asking deeper questions. It kept her from having to expose what was really happening. But one day, on a fateful day, someone asked her again, "Are you okay, Mary?" And she feels the old phrase rise. It's fine. But this time she did not say it. This time she says, "No, it's actually not fine." That moment may look small to someone else, but to her, it is enormous. It is the get out of jail moment. Because she did not just answer a question, she broke a pattern. She broke out of a cycle, broke a pattern of minimizing, a pattern of hiding, a pattern of translating pain into something socially acceptable. See, that is what healing often looks like at first. Not fireworks, not dramatic. No, not huge public changes. Pattern interruption, interrupting an existing pattern. A different sentence. Instead of saying it's fine, when you know it's not fine, you just say, "Oh, this is my truth." A different response, a different level of honesty, my friends. And those small breaks in the patterns are often where healing enters. That's where healing enters. One of the reasons, one of the many reasons why people delay healing, from what I've gathered, is that They want to do it perfectly. Oh, Matt, I have this great image. I don't just want to mess up. I want to get it done perfectly. They want to be graceful in healing. They want to be so composed. They want to be so clear. They want to be so articulate. They want to be so spiritually strong. Emotionally, they want to look mature. But real healing is often messier than that. You may cry. Thank you. You may cry at inconvenient times. You may realize things slowly. You may say too much one day and too little the next day. You may grieve something you thought you were over. You may feel stronger one week and heavy the next week. You may not know exactly how to talk about what is happening in you yet. That is okay. 100% okay. Healing is not a performance review. You are not before an HR expert trying to get a job. You do not have to do it beautifully for it to be real. You just have to stay honest. You just have to speak your truth. And some of you need permission for that tonight. Permission not to sound polished. Permission not to have a clean summary. Permission not to make your pain easy for everyone else to process. Because if you wait until your healing looks presentable, you may stay in hiding for too long. Healing often begins in awkward truth, awkward moments, not polished language. So before you start thinking, oh, how do I look? How do I sound? How do I feel? That's not actual healing. Healing in its complete sense looks awkward at the beginning, but that's okay. That is part of the package. Let me say something deeper here. As I've already started talking on this front, let me say something deeper here, right? Sometimes to start the healing, you have to grieve not only what happened to you, you have to grieve the image of yourself you used to protect, the performing image you used to carry around, the strong one, the unbothered one, the always wise one, the one who never needed much, the one who always lands on their feet, the one who can handle it all, the one everybody admires. That image may have protected you for a season, right? But if you're going to heal, you may have to let that image lose power. You may have to let people see that, oh, Matt is a human after all. Matt got a heart. He feels pains too. He's got a soul. He has emotions. He cries too. Oh, he's a human. Let the role loosen its grip on you. Let the old script, let the old operating system die. And see, friends, it can feel like loss. I spoke to a lady of recent, and that is what we dwelt on. Because she had carried that image for so long, and I'm like, hey, for you to go to the next level, for you to start your healing process, you have to let that image go. You have to let that image go. And the first feeling of that is that it may feel like loss, but it is okay. You can't carry that image like a monkey in your back and you want to get healed. It's not going to be possible. You can't have that image like a mask on your face and you're thinking of getting healed, the marks have to come off. That is what healing is. Yes, it's allowed to grieve that image. It's allowed to grieve that persona you've been carrying for so long. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like loss. Because, see, sometimes people are not just afraid of pain, they're afraid of not being seen as who they have always been seen as. All right. So they're afraid of not being seen as the picture they've always painted. They're afraid of not being seen as the strong one, the powerful one, the one everybody can rely on. But if the image is keeping you from truth, then the image is too expensive. It is just too expensive. And some of you are at that point right now. You're keeping the image alive. And keeping that image alive costs more than telling the truth. That is when healing begins to become possible. Right? It begins to become possible. Healing is not just honesty, okay? It is honesty followed by alignment. That means once you tell the truth, you begin making small choices that agree with the truth. Remember, I said from the beginning of this talk, you don't always run back to image management. This is what buttresses that point. Healing is not just honesty, it is honesty followed by alignment. Once you tell the truth, you begin to make small choices that agrees with the truth. If the truth is, I'm exhausted, then maybe the next step is not another speech. Maybe the next step is rest. The next step is create boundaries. Assess boundaries. Who gets to you and what gets to you? Create space, support space. Space that you can pray. Create a space for yourself. Maybe that's the best next step. If the truth for you is this relationship is one-sided, is parasitic, then maybe the next best step is changing your access, your availability, your expectations, changing it. If the truth for you is I've been over performing, then maybe the next step is letting one room see less performance. Letting these people see less performance. If the truth for you is, I do not know who I am right now, okay, then maybe the next step is quiet journaling, prayer, therapy, solitude. If the truth is, I cannot keep carrying this role, then maybe the next step is one honest conversation. Small aligned choices matter. Because if truth never changes your behavior, performance can quietly return. That image management can quietly return. You say the honest thing, but then keep living the exact same way. That is momentary relief. Healing requires response, it requires time. Not massive responses all at once, no. But some response, some movement that says, I am taking my truth seriously now. I'm taking my truth seriously. Some of you are trying to heal while staying constantly immersed in an environment that keeps rewarding your marks. You stay in an environment that keeps rewarding the role you're playing, the performance. Rooms where you're still expected to be the strong one. Environment where you're still expected to be the easy one, to be the always fine one, to be the useful one, to be the spiritually polished one, the endlessly available one. And because these rooms keeps reinforcing the whole self, you keep slipping back into performance because everything you see around you reinforces that performance. But healing may require less time in some rooms, less exposure to some dynamics, less access to some people, or at minimum, less emotional dependencies on places that only knows how to applaud your marks. Because friends, if every room rewards the false self, the real self struggles to breathe. That does not mean leaving everything dramatically. No, that's not what I mean. But it does mean becoming intentional, asking questions like, where can I heal? Where do I feel safe enough not to be performing? Where do I keep getting pushed back into this image? What spaces threatens honesty in me? What spaces keeps teaching me to disappear? That is part of healing, to protecting the conditions where the real you can emerge. Let me say this plainly as I can tonight. Healing begins when you decide that your pain deserves the truth, not a polished answer, not an edited explanation, not a fake smile, not another performance, the truth. My heart is not okay. This session has cost me. I've been disappearing. I need help. I need rest. I need honesty. I need to stop protecting the image. I need to start protecting what is real. That is where healing begins. Because pains cannot heal where it is constantly being hidden to protect appearance. And some of you have spent years protecting the image while the pain kept waiting. It's waiting for honesty, it's waiting for air to breathe, it's waiting for permission. It's waiting for one moment where you finally stop saying it is fine when it is not. So maybe tonight is that moment. Maybe tonight is the night the performance ends. Not forevermore in one dramatic sweep, that would be wrong, but enough for healing to begin. Enough for truth to enter, enough for the body to exhale, enough for the soul to say, finally. Friends, that matters. So tonight, let me leave you with this, okay? If you want to start healing, start with truth, not image, not polish, not performance. Truth. Tell the truth about what hurts. Tell the truth about what is heavy. Tell the truth about what no longer fits. Tell the truth about what you've been carrying. Tell the truth about the role. Tell the truth about the fear, about the cost. And then, take one small step that agrees with that truth. One conversation, one boundary, one prayer, one journal entry, one honest answer, one quiet hour, one act of rest, one refusal to keep pretending. That's enough for a beginning. That's enough to start. That's a small step that agrees with truth. Because healing is not built in one giant moment, it's not dramatic. It is built in repeated acts of honesty, repeated acts of alignment, repeated refusals to go back into the max, repeated choices to protect what is real. So, if this episode found you tonight, sit with these questions. Got some questions for you as always. What pain have I been trying to manage instead of honestly face? What is the first true sentence I need to say? Where am I still confusing performance with progress. What small step would actually agree with the truth? What do I need to stop pretending so healing can begin? Friends, sit with that, pray with that, journal with that. Do not rush it. Because, see, you do not have to be impressive to start healing. I told you, healing starts messy, it can be awkward, but that is part of the package. All you just have to do is just to be honest, just to tell your truth. And maybe this is the gift of this episode. Not pressure to become someone new overnight. No, no, but permission to begin, to start truthfully, to start gently, to start seriously, to start for real. For real. Thank you, friends, for being here tonight. Thank you for listening. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know how this episode, if it hits you, let us know the parts that resonates with you. And also, please share this with someone. I don't believe there are so many people in our world that needs to hear this. Share this with someone. And if you've not hit the subscribe button, kindly go ahead to do it so that you're notified when we go online, when we go live. Thank you for tonight. Remember, episode 10 is tomorrow. Stay with us because next we'll bring this whole series to a decision. Tomorrow is the concluding part. So we're going to have a decision by tomorrow. Stay with us and see you then. But before then, do have a great day, great night, great day tomorrow. Remember, I love you so much. Remember, you can always be great, you can always be better. And always, always prioritize yourself first. Okay? Good night.